How Socialism Destroyed Venezuela, a warning for America. Welcome to a special series on Spin Cycle America, where we talk about what is going on in the world today. I'm your host, Todd. Today, this week, and all this week, we'll be talking about socialism in America. So buckle up and listen closely. You don't want to miss this series. Welcome back to the series on the negative aspects of socialism. In episode 1, we covered what socialism actually is. Today, we're going to look at a real world example that happened in our lifetime. Venezuela. Once was once one of the richest countries in Latin America with the world's largest oil reserve. Okay, let me say that again. One of the world's largest oil reserves. The richest country in Latin America. It became a socialist experiment under Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. It has been marked by hyperinflation, starvation, disease, crime, mortality rates, resulting in massive immigration. So food shortage and hyperinflation have ended, but inflation itself remains high. It is the worst economic crisis in Venezuela in history and considered more severe than the Great Depression in the United States. Think about that. And and in the 1985 and 94 Brazilian economic crisis, worse than that, and worse than the 2005-2009 hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. Really, people? Oh my God, people, you're just not thinking. The results: economic collapse, hyperinflation, mass starvation, and millions fleeing the country. This isn't ancient history, people. It's cautionary tale for anyone pushing similar ideas here. The problem is we have we have or seem to or have a lack of is that no one seems to research anything or check things out. They just immediately hear the word free and they believe it. They jump onto it. They're all over it like mice on rice or mice on cheese. You don't get anything in this world for free. Nothing. They even tax you when you leave this world, a death tax, or referred to as an estate tax. So people start thinking, but do it, but don't do it with your wallet. Start thinking, what's what's what is being said? What is that person actually saying? He said free, but where's the money actually coming from? Okay, so the rich people are going to pay for this. Okay, so if the rich people are going to pay for this, and those rich people decide to get up and leave, now who pays for it? Oh, so we're going to take it out of our budget, some of the budgets that's here. Well, do we have $70 million to budget for something free? Well, maybe, maybe not. So let's talk about Venezuela a little bit more. So Venezuela before socialism. Venezuela wasn't a poor country, was not a poor country. Again, was not a poor country. In the 70s and 80s, it was a thriving middle class, strong economy. It was a magnet for immigrants. Oil wealth funded development. People had cars. Yeah, you know those things you drive around with now every day? They had homes, consumer goods, a Latin American success story. That was the place to go. It was where you wanted to be if you went south to South America. That was it. That's where you wanted to go. Then came the Bolivarian Revolution. Chavez was elected in 1998, promising to use oil money for the poor and reduce inequality. Sounds good, right? Sure it does. You hear that now coming up north over there in New York. Anybody can talk a big talk, but the methods were classic socialist. Massive government control. That's all it is. They want to control everything. They want to control you. Because if they control you, they control it all. They can herd you like mice. You know, those mice in those little mazes? They can control you. No, go to the left. No, go to the right. We'll put some cheese over here. You'll go over there. And we got you controlled. We'll put you in a controlled environment. When the government controls everything, you have no control. You have no say so. You don't own it. What socialist policies did. So here's what happened. Nationalized key industries, oil farms, factories, telecommunications, even food production, private companies were seized or driven out. So think about it. You're up in New York and they're getting all these other governments, they're opening up, trying to open up 5 stores. Okay, so all these private businesses are going to go out of business because they're going to undercut you. And then all of a sudden, who's going to stock those stores? Price control on food, medicine, and essentials to make things affordable. There you go. Those are those 5 stores they're building up there in New York. Massive spending and redistribution funded by oil revenue. When prices dropped, they printed money. They figured out, we'll just print more money. Well, you have to have gold and you have to have resources to make money. They took over thousands of private farm businesses and farms. The result, production collapsed. Farmers and factories couldn't operate efficiently under government control. That means we're going to pay you. This is what you're getting. We own you now. Shortages of everything, food, toilet paper, medicine. People lost weight from hunger. Hyperinflation hit millions of percent. Money became worthless. Economy shrank dramatically. Millions of refugees, one of the largest migration crises in history. This was man-made, not just failing or falling oil prices. Policy failures turned when wealth into poverty. So where's this happening right now? Think about that, people. It's happening up there in New York. You have socialists being elected up there in New York because we're talking free. We're going to open up stores, okay? We're going to open up 5 of them. As you can see this happening in New York, controlled by one man. He's building grocery stores in the city. The city government will run and own them. Okay, problem is, who's going to pay for it? Sure, he says right now at this point that the government is going to pay for that. Do you know how much those stores are going to cost? Who is producing the food for it? Well, those farmers. However, when he starts lowering the prices there, he's got to force the farmers to shoot their lower prices. Farmers can't survive on that. They're going to go out of business. So for those 5 grocery stores that are owned by the government, it's going to cost a total of $70 million. $70 million. I will say that one more time. $70 million. Who is going to pay for that? Well, yeah, he says that some of the government, uh, some money in the government funding is for that. Well, there's probably some other places that money can be spent for too, such as Everybody's complaining and saying healthcare. Well, there's a good spot for it. Okay. Uh, but that will open those stores up. That will build those stores. Now you have to stock those stores. How are they getting stocked? Okay. So you have to figure that out. It's time to wake up, America. So here's lessons for America. Why does this matter here? Well, because elements of this thinking, heavy government intervention, price controls in some sectors, demonizing private enterprises, massive spending are gaining traction on the far left. Okay, so they're gaining traction on the far left. The far left is now pushing this agenda. You have the Democrats, they're splitting in half. Now, there are some Democrats that are not quite for that yet, but trust me, when you have some of the leaders saying, follow me or else we won't like you anymore and you will probably lose your position, then guess what? They're going to follow them. They're going to put them in line like a line of ducks because they don't want to step out of bounds. Socialism assumes government planners can run the economy better than millions of individuals and businesses. History shows they can't. Government planners can't. They don't know it. They cannot. The incentives are wrong. Information is missing and power corrupts. Venezuela proves that even rich or resource rich countries can be ruined when they attack private property and free markets. Think about that, guys. They're going to do it. That's all there is to it. So, in closing, Venezuela went from prosperity to disasters in just a couple of decades. A couple. You know how many a couple is, right? That's two. You know how many years decades are, right? That's 10, right? A decade is 10. So in 20 years, Cuba went to nothing, okay? And that's not the only example. We're going to cover a couple more examples. We're going to cover Soviet Union, Cuba, and others soon, okay? So the warning is clear. Good intentions plus bad economics equals suffering. People, it's in the horizon. If we keep going this route, we're in for a rough awakening. Okay, so it's time to wake up and smell the roses and say, okay, that's enough, people. That we're done. This is not going to work. So, what do you think about? So, could similar policies take hold here? They might be because they're kind of taking hold, or they're trying to get a snag a hold or a hook in New York. So maybe comment below, hit subscribe for episode 3. Share if you want more people to see the real record on socialism, and make sure that if you're interested in this. And again, like I said, I'm always interested in your comments. I do reply to them as well, and I do read them all. Thanks for watching. Stay informed. I'll catch you tomorrow on the next episode of Spin Cycle America. You all have an outstanding